I've been living in this van for the past 4 years and I make money through content creation. I guess some people will call me an influencer even though I don't really love that word. But today I'm going to share the truth about van life influencers. I think I want to get in. Let's go change. I've been traveling solo while I'm here in Mexico.
Solo? I've been living with you the last year.
Shh. That's so weird. What do I do?
It feels good. Was it? Wait, who am I looking at? Do I look at the camera or you? I don't know. I feel weird about it. Solo? I'm just telling you.
Is this just an awkward idea?
I have the weird part of this, okay? You get to say normal things.
Doing social media, I have heard so many assumptions about travel influencers, one of those being that we lie to the public. People believe that we say we live in vans and we make videos about it, but we actually go home to our mansions, or in this case that I would say that I'm traveling solo, but actually I have a bunch of people around me in the vans nearby, and also my partner Tori who lives with me. That's one of the bigger assumptions about people who live in vans, but there are so many small ones, and I actually ended up asking on my Instagram story for your assumptions about van life influencers, so I'm going to address all of them in this video. But first we're going to make a meal. I'm making rice with garbanzo beans and veggies and putting them in some tortillas to have tacos with my friends and I, because no, I'm not a solo female traveler right now anyways. At one point I was. I didn't get very far with cooking before I realized that my batteries ran out. I was dumb and I didn't look at them, so I'm going to move this project over to Maddie's van because she has propane and doesn't have to worry about batteries, and that's one thing I don't like about my induction cooktop. But hey, I'm glad that I have Maddie's van to use too. Last year, this video went viral on TikTok of a girl who had just moved into her Jeep, and she was claiming that all of the van life influencers are either trust fund babies or they're lying to you. So I wanted to share a little bit about my experience and answer the question, am I a trust fund baby, and are any of these people, these van life influencers that I'm traveling with, trust fund babies? I'll start by saying that I am extremely privileged and I'm very grateful for that. My mom grew up in China and then came to America and was so poor, and she found a lot of freedom through attaining a higher education. So that was one of her biggest priorities for her kids, was to be able to pay for their college and get them a high education so that they could get 9-to-5 jobs and work in the corporate workforce. So when I wanted to drop out to pursue art and travel, not surprisingly, she wasn't supportive of that, and my parents made it very clear that they would not help me in any way if I decided to drop out. I saved up for about 2 years for this van, which cost me $27,000 at the time. This was a little over 4 years ago that I bought it, and the build cost me $10,000, and then I hit the road with $10,000 of savings. But I didn't have a source of income, so I was extremely stressed about money when I was on the road for the first year or two. And I had dreams of making money off my art, off of my jewelry and my paintings and videos, and I wanted to share my art with the world, but that was a longer process than I ever thought, and only now I'm starting to feel really stable within this career. In terms of other people being trust fund babies, I have been on the road for so long, and almost everybody I meet is either working in some way or the other, whether that's being self-employed, or they have remote jobs, or they're working seasonally, or they have an allotment of savings from when they worked and they travel off of that. I have yet to meet someone that I know of that's a trust fund baby. I think there's a distinction between vacation and traveling, and a lot of people confuse the two for each other, but I'll get into that a little more after my shower. Excuse me, Choya. Oreo thing, and then I'm using the Drunk Elephant face wash, and I love that also. I've been using it for a long time.
I'm using Earthling Coat Bars.
Yeah, the Earthling Coat Bars are also great. One common question I get about content creation is whether or not I use anything for my security, like a VPN, while working in public. I almost always edit my videos and do work in public places like coffee shops with public Wi-Fi, so I take my online security very seriously. I use Surfshark VPN, which encrypts my online data and helps to secure personal information while browsing the internet. A VPN essentially masks your IP address and makes sure that your city, country, and download history aren't linked to your identity. The other thing I love about Surfshark is they don't monitor, track, or store what you do online. And you can even use Surfshark to make a website think you're in another country and come across cheaper travel deals and unlock content that is not available in your country. Getting a VPN is a must-have if you're going to be working in public places, and I have good news for you guys. Surfshark is offering 83% off plus 3 extra months with my code SarahYak. I've also left the link in the description box of this video. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the questions. We're taking a quick pit stop to fill up our 30-gallon water tank in the back. ¿Cuánto cuesta?
Por toda ella.
Sí,
Los dos.
dos. I feel like a lot of people think it's so unattainable to travel full-time because they're viewing it as their vacation. And when you're on vacation, you're renting hotels, you're doing excursions, you're spending a lot of money, you're not working, but that's not what traveling is, especially like how we travel.
On a budget.
It's on a budget. We travel slowly, we spend a month in each state or country.
Making all of our own food, getting groceries.
We don't do that many excursions, but we are going scuba diving tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that.
Cow crossing.
There's cows crossing the road right now. Maria, do you see the cow? He's barking and growling.
I'm holding up a line, so I wanna
go around.
continue going. Will you take him back?
Good morning. We woke up for sunrise again today. We're at a new campsite. I didn't film last night because I was just so exhausted from the drive. Choya threw up twice on me, so I just needed to relax. But that brings me to my next assumption that someone said about van life influencers, and one of them is that they have no problems or daily conflict, and I just want to clear that up because I at least definitely do. So last week I actually had a pretty bad week and I didn't film. I think that's one reason why there's this perception that people who post online don't have any conflict or problems, is because when you're having those problems, it is really hard to like pick up a camera and film yourself, or at least for me, but I do try to. And I've been trying to more and more show all of the little problems that pop up in my life, but also in a way that doesn't seem insensitive or like I'm complaining, because I realize that I'm living the dream in so many ways. Tori is my coffee addict, and I love sweet things like candy.
That's why I put like 10 pounds of agave in your coffee.
Tori doesn't only like eating sweet stuff because it doesn't fill her up. You've told me that. Pancakes, smoothies, cereal.
These are all things I don't want to pay attention to.
We had breakfast number 2. We had our sweet breakfast and our savory breakfast, and now we're nourished and ready to go scuba diving. I am so incredibly nervous. I'm just scared of the ocean in general, and it's just a new experience. So we put all the blinds up for him. We have a little fan going with water and ice on top that mist the area. We have ice in his bowl and the fans are on. Goodbye, baby. We'll be back. Hi, Troya. I'm so excited. In the beginning of 2023, I made a bucket list for the upcoming year, and one of the things on the list was to go scuba diving. Usually you need to take a long and expensive course to get your certification before you can go diving, but we found a place called the Cabo Pumo Dive House, which had great reviews and you could go diving without a certification.
We've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah, I've been wanting to scuba dive for so long. I'm so excited. Obviously though, our guide Angel gave us the rundown of all the things we needed to know to go on our first dive.
In the left side, we have the pressure gauge. This let us know how much air the tank has. Look, it's some PSI. Full tank have 3,000 PSI. 3,000.
As we slowly lowered 45 feet down, I could hear my heart beating. This was all so new to me, but I kept thinking back to all of Angel's teachings and I reminded myself to breathe. I was safe.
Tell me how much air you have. You're gonna look down, you check the pressure gauge, and you're gonna have two options, okay? You can show it to me, just in case you cannot see it for any reason, or you can tell me as a certified diver, okay? You can tell me, for example, 2,000, 500, 1,000 here, and 100.
When my heartbeat did slow down, I was able to really take my surroundings in, and the first thing I heard was the noise of gray whales nearby. And we actually later saw them breaching near our boat while we were driving to our second dive spot. This dive was truly one of the best moments of my life. I've always been a little afraid of the ocean. To me, the ocean is the embodiment of the unknown. Over 80% of it remains unexplored and it just feels like a different world down there. But I actually felt strangely at ease once I just slowed down my breathing and observed my surroundings. We saw so many schools of vibrantly colored fish. We saw manta ray in the sand, we saw big pufferfish with polka dots, and we even saw bull sharks. We ended up being surrounded by 6 of them, and they were only 5 feet away from us. In moments while they swam around us, I felt myself get nervous, but I reminded myself that sharks are predators, not monsters. Shark attacks are rare and almost never deadly, and there are things you can do to show sharks that you're not prey, like looking them in the eyes, not splashing, and wearing dark colors. While we were underwater, we regularly monitored the PSI and our oxygen tanks, and when it started to get low, we slowly made our way to the water's surface. I felt sad to leave, but so grateful to have been able to get a glimpse into the world that's beneath the surface of the ocean. We saw sharks while we were under there, and now we're seeing some sharks in this cove. Apparently they come here to mate, so we're looking at them from the boat.
I literally want to call my mom to tell her about that. Aww. Oh, that's so cute. Like when you have an exciting experience when you want to bring mom. Just that one. Maybe it's not so cute. Why? Because I know she'd be stressed about the shark. You like want to worry her. Well, it's so cool. I want her to know. It's not to worry her. It's just such a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I really want them to know it.
There is a world waiting outside our door. It stands uncharted.
Scuba diving was truly the most magical experience of my entire life. I left feeling like that was the best day I've ever had. We could hear the noises of the gray whales the entire time. We unexpectedly came across 6 bull sharks and they were surrounding us only 5 feet away from us. It was crazy. I can't even believe that we had that experience. Back to talking about van life influencers and their assumptions, I have another one, which is that they work very hard. It's interesting. I didn't think I would get that one because I feel like most people think the opposite. They see us doing beautiful things like this and they don't see that often the editing that goes behind it. I have made a video about how I make my YouTube videos, but it's just something people don't really think about, like even just setting down the tripod and going on a long walk to get that shot and then having to go back and do twice the distance. When you're watching a video, I think you often don't think of that. Such an easy job in so many ways, but there are elements of it that are really hard. Like even getting started is really hard because you're basically having to have a lot of self-discipline and not a lot of reward. And for me, it took years of doing that every single week and not getting any reward until I started finally getting something for all of the hard work I put in. So I would say it's hard work, but maybe in different ways than people think, because it is so magical too. It's such a dream. But anyways, we're at this new spot. This is the La Ventana. We just got here today. I love it. I want to stay here for the next few days, I think, because it's just so remote. There's not a lot of people around and it's so beautiful right now. And Choya loves it here because we don't really have to worry about him so much. He just kind of runs around and explores. The only thing we really have to worry about is all the pufferfish. They're really toxic and they're dead and washed ashore. But other than that, it's a great spot. Watching You. We just started the 4th season and we are addicted. We are the type of people who binge watch shows. We don't watch shows very often, but when we do, we're fully sending it. That's all we're doing. Binge watching it until the end. So we started it yesterday and we're on episode 5 or 6. And it's really good. I love this. Did I say that we're watching You? I don't even know. The next assumption is that influencers have all the time in the world. So what do you think about that?
For me personally, I feel like I do actually have a lot of the time in the world. I'm always doing my hobbies and doing really whatever I want out in nature or like creating in some way. And my job as an influencer is tied to me doing fun things. So when I am working, it feels like I'm just having fun too.
Obviously, we have the same amount of time that anyone else does, but I think when I look back to when I had a 9-to-5 job, it felt like I didn't have a lot of time because when I was working, I wasn't really enjoying it that much. So my time felt like anything outside of work, like before and after work, which didn't feel like a lot. Whereas now I do love my job so much. Obviously not every day I love it, but for the most part, I really love it. So it does feel like I have so much time.
Those look so good, Maddie.
How is it?
Incredible.
How did you make it?
Chopped everything up, squeezed the lemon on it, throw it in a frying pan. There you go. Oh, these are the ones you said were old? The ones that are extra crispier, you just can't eat it. If you're up here, you can't eat it. You're an animal! So big!
Yeah, he's massive. I was looking at him earlier today. I feel like he grew a lot last night or something.
By the time you guys leave, he's gonna be so big.
How am I supposed to leave you and not see how big you get?
So in the United States, you are only allowed to adopt a dog at 8 weeks old, and that's because the mom has so much valuable information to teach their puppies. But we found Choya when he was 4 weeks old in a bush in Mexico. So we have been letting Eliza, Maddie's dog, discipline him.
That was impressive.
Wow, that's like the most she's done.
Yeah.
Good girl, Liza.
I think she sensed that mommy was mad too, and so she was like,
I think that's what got
Wow, and Choya immediately submitted. And now he's back at it. We know Eliza isn't going to actually hurt him, and we think he needs a little bit of that stern, you know, she's just correcting him. She's teaching him boundaries, and he needs that. He's a little bit of a wild child.
we're tag teaming him.
They're all best friends again. They're so cute. They're so cute together.
Yeah, good girl. Kill him.
He just keeps barking. I think he sees his reflection. It's just yourself, Choya. Choya, that's you. Don't scare him. Okay, anyways. One of the other assumptions is hippie vegans who don't want to pay for housing. Well, I guess I'm a hippie. I am vegan, and I don't really want to pay for housing because it's so expensive. So are you a hippie vegan who doesn't want to pay for housing?
Yep.
I'll answer the rest of the assumptions tomorrow we're gonna go to bed and watch more of this show. So, good night. Good morning, it's the next day. I'm going to make breakfast and finish reading off all the assumptions I got about a van life influencer. I think we're gonna just make avocado toast because it'll be the easiest thing, and it's getting kind of late. The next assumption is that there's no privacy because my whole life is online, and that is kind of true, but it hasn't bothered me so far. Avocado toast than intentioned. I also made a side salad and a potato hash because I wanted to just bulk it up and get a little more veggies in. Pretty good. Next assumption is that influencers are rich and wealthy, and I think there is so much potential to make money in this space. I'm not rich and wealthy by any means. The spectrum is so big. In the beginning, I was so poor, and I know a lot of aspiring creators or smaller creators are still struggling and maybe even having to work seasonally. And then the last assumption is that they don't show the downsides of travel. I think this can be true to the extent that it's hard to pick up a camera when you're having a bad moment. At the same time, I feel like if you're not following people who aren't showing the downsides of travel, then you're just not following the right people, because I feel like there are so many more people talking about the downsides of traveling than any other niche that I've seen anyways, like the downsides of fashion or the downsides of living in a house or having a business. I don't know, I just feel like I see so many videos pop up on my feed and my For You page of people showing like the downsides of van life, the downsides, things I don't like about my van build, things I don't like about full-time travel. So yeah, I think there are a lot of people doing that, and you might just not be following the right people. But that wraps up the assumptions. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please like because it really supports my channel, and subscribe because I post videos every week on Sunday. Bye!